is your girl Wakeji Kamore, and welcome to Reflections by Wakeji Kamore. If the two guys are doing well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on the time that you get to listen to this. Thank you so much for being part of this journey. Thank you so much for taking on this journey with me. Today we are going to be looking at Proverbs Chapter 30 something. Gosh, to call Proverbs Chapter 11. Proverbs Chapter 11. And if you haven't read this chapter, please pause this recording, read the chapter for yourself. I like to say, give the Holy Spirit a chance to speak to you. Give the Holy Spirit a chance to speak to you. And most importantly, today you need to read it for yourself, because I will not be reading it word for word as I usually do. So for this chapter, I'm going to give a summary of what's happening in the chapter, and then I am going to give you the lessons that I have picked up from this chapter. So Proverbs chapter 11 is a continuation of short Proverbs of Solomon. Short sayings of Solomon that begin in chapter 10 and that going to go all the way to chapter 29. These proverbs are typically short and conscious, like short statements of wisdom filled with contrast between good and evil, wickedness and righteousness. And like I said in chapter 10, it is really difficult to pick up one lesson from each chapter of Proverbs, because each line, I am telling you, sticks to your mind, hits you like a ton of bricks, and leaves you meditating for days. So I'll try to see what it is that I can pick from this chapter and just focus on two things. I'm just going to focus on two things. The first thing that I'm focusing on is honesty in dealings. Honesty in dealings. The first verse of this chapter, which is Proverbs chapter 11 verse 1, says that the Lord detests the use of dishonest scales, but he delights in accurate scales or accurate weights. This speaks to us, of course, who are in business and other dealings that we could be carrying out. The Lord calls us to be honest, because dishonesty is an abomination to him. And so we should be far removed from dishonesty. There are many ways of being dishonest. There's a normal weighing scale. Unaenda kupimia mtu kilo, but your weighing scale is cooked up. It's done something, so it's weighing less, but you're selling as if you're weighing a kilo, but you're literally weighing less. There's a stealing of sijui, you're going to buy warus in a bucket, but because the bucket has been slashed, I don't know, it has been put upside down, sijui what. That is like what it's talking about. But there are other things where when you're doing shortcuts in manufacturing, you're lowering the quality standards of something so that you can make profits. You're doing shortcuts, you're using the least quality products to make something so then you can make more. And then for those that are employed, there's working less hours than you're being paid for, working slower so that time can move faster, or doing the bare minimum in what you have been tasked with. That is dishonesty. And the Lord is asking us to be way far removed from any sorts of dishonesty. The second thing I'm going to be speaking about, or rather I pick up from this chapter that has many proverbs, is a true beauty in a woman. Proverbs chapter 11 verse 22 says, a beautiful woman who lacks discretion is like a gold ring on a pig's snout. That means you can be so beautiful, but if you don't have any discretion, you're like a gold ring that has been put on a pig's nose. A gold ring is beautiful, but it loses its value when you put it on a pig's nose. It's similar to the expression that we say, it's like putting lipstick on a pig. Let me tell you guys, don't cancel me for this, because I'm just going to say it as it is. Please don't cancel me for this, but if you also want to cancel me, it is well. I have seen very many beautiful ladies out here, but most of them are living without discretion. Most behave in a way that shows that they don't respect themselves, they don't value themselves, and they don't have any principles of virtue or honor. And how can you know this? By the way they dress, the manner they speak in vulgar speeches, by the spaces they allow themselves to be in, and how they allow themselves to be used as sex objects. I know you guys. I know. And I'm not even trying to say that I am condoning what the men are doing, what the wicked men are doing, who are raping women, who are really misusing women, who are recording women, without consent. I can speak about this without When I speak to the ladies, I'm not speaking this because I'm condoning what the wicked men are doing. The wicked men are doing what they are doing, and they shouldn't be doing it, period. But over and above that, I know the world says, show some skin so that you can be sexy, drink, smoke shisha, weed, do drugs, use curse words so that you can be interesting. But that's not true beauty. That is not true beauty. And I know that here we say, men shouldn't rape, men shouldn't beat people, men shouldn't kill women, and they shouldn't do those things. But guess what? You don't have control over what a wicked man will do. You don't have control over what a wicked man who has been watching pornography all night will do to you when you are in his presence. Imagine you don't have control over that. But you know what you have control over? You have control over what you dress like. And I know we like to say, my dress, my choice. Yes, it is your choice. And that is why I'm saying you have control over it. You have control over how you dress. How much skin you expose, how much cleavage you expose. You have control over how tight your skirt is and how short it is. You have control over that. Guess what else you have control over? You have control over how you speak. You have control over, am I going to be just using B words or F words? Or you have control over that. You can decide, I'm not going to be using vulgar because I'm not going to be vulgar. Because why? Because I respect myself. Because I value myself. I'm not going to do that. Guess what else you have control over? You have control over what you consume. You have control over when someone invites you for a drink, you have control over what you drink. You can decide, I'm just going to take a mocktail or I'm going to take juice. Hakuna story ya mtu alinipea pombe. Wewe ulipewa pombe aje? Like, someone offered you a drink, you chose to have alcohol. So you have control over what you decide to take in your body. You have control over what you decide to sniff. You have control over what you decide to smoke. You have control over how sober. In the most instances, you have control over how sober you remain. I know there are instances where other people drag people without their knowledge, but those instances are less compared to when people consume things that are things that drag you with control. When you have, you chose to drink it and you drank it, those are more than the cases of people who actually get drugged. So you have control over how sober you can remain in whatever situation. You know what else you have control over? You have control over where you meet. You have control over saying, me asitakuja kwa yo Airbnb. If you want to really hang out with me, let's go to a public place. You have control over that. So ladies, let us be people who know what true beauty is. Because it is more than skin deep. It's more than how much skin you show. It's really more than those. It's what you are neglecting. It's a self-respect. It's a kindness. It's a valuing yourself. It's a discretion. That is true beauty. This might be difficult for people to listen to because we want to be fighting what the other person is doing. But you don't have control over that. How about tujiita mkutano tujiambie, these are the things I have control over, these are the things that I don't have control over. And you know what? We can call the government, hold it accountable, they need to, there needs to be justice for men who abuse women, and all that needs to be done. But we also need to call ourselves together, and you ask yourself, I don't have control over what the government does. I don't have control over what the other person I am meeting does, but what do I have control over? And then do those things that you have control. You don't have control over the teacher who is looking at your teenage daughter or even younger daughter lustfully. You don't have control over that. But you know what you have control over? You have control over the fact that you can teach them to dress well. Imagine you have control over that. You don't have control over how soja anaangalia watoto wako wakipita kwa gate na macho lustful. You don't have control over that. But you have control over how you dress your children. How about we do the things that we have control? We take control of the things that we actually have control over. And show people what true beauty looks like. I don't want to be cancelled, so I shall end there, even though I'm very passionate about this topic. Many people might not agree with what I am saying, but I just needed to have it said there. True beauty is more than skin deep. It is what you're neglecting. It's the self-respect. It's the kindness. It's the valuing yourself. It's the discretion. It's the choosing right decisions. It's the making right. That's what true beauty is. Thank you so much for listening, and see you tomorrow. I know I'm ending it so abruptly, but I need to stop. Thank you so much for listening, and see you tomorrow.